Let's start by creating Next.js 15 project. Open your VS Code and in your terminal, type npx create next app at rc. I've already opened my VS Code inside a folder, so I'll put period at the end. Go with the default options. Let's do some cleanup. Open page.js file. Remove this. This is our home page. Let's remove default styles. Now let's define some routes. Next.js uses file-based routing. So to create a route, we just have to create a folder inside app directory. The folder name indicates the route name, and inside that folder we have to create page.js file. Let's create login route. For that, create a folder login inside app directory, and inside login folder create a file name page.js. This is our login page. Similarly, I'll create some other routes. Here I have created following routes: about us, admin, login, order, profile, and register. Now let's create our header component. For that, create a folder name component inside app directory. Inside component, create a file name header.jsx. Let's create simple navbar. Import link from next link. Let's link to the previously created routes. Let's add this header component in our layout.js file. Now I'll add some basic styles. Let's run our app. Right now, I can navigate through all of our routes. This is our login page. This is our order page. Similarly, I can navigate through all of our routes. Now let's protect some of our routes, like only admin can access the admin route, and the user must be logged in to access order and profile route. For that, in the root, create a file name middleware.js. Let's export middleware function from this file. Console log, middleware is running. Input next request from next server. Next request provides us next function. This passes the incoming request. We have to return this. Save it. Reload the page. This should be next response, not request. So now if I navigate to any of these route, I'll see this console log, because this middleware runs before the incoming request is completed. If I navigate to login, I'll see middleware is running. Similarly, for other routes, middleware allows to run code before request is completed. Based on this incoming request, we can modify the response. and redirect user to other page. We can also modify the URL of the route that the user is trying to access. Right now, our middleware function runs in all of our routes. However, we want to only protect our admin, order, and profile route. For that, we have to specify this route in a matcher. For that, export config object. Inside matcher, let's specify our routes for which we want to trigger this middleware. In our case, that is /order /profile and /admin. Let's run our app. Now, when we only navigate to order, profile, or admin route, this middleware function will execute. Otherwise, it won't execute. So we'll not see middleware is running. If I navigate to about us page, however, if I navigate to admin page, I can see that the middleware is running. This approach is not so good. That is because as we keep adding our routes, we have to specify the routes that we want to protect in our matcher. So instead of this, there is another way to specify the routes that we want to protect. For that, create a folder named user inside app directory. We'll keep all our user route inside this folder. In our example, order and profile, let's move this folder inside our user directory. Now, instead of this, we'll specify our user route /user / all the path that comes after the user route. The advantage of using this approach is we don't have to specify each of the route individually. For example, right now, no matter how much long we have our routes, if it start with /user, this middleware function will execute. For example, /user /user/profile /user /profile /123. If the route start with /user, all of this route, the middleware function will execute. This way, we don't have to specify the routes in matcher. If we later created another route, similarly, we can move all of our admin route inside admin folder by creating it inside app directory. Instead of directly creating page.js inside admin, let's remove this page. Let's create other route for admin. Say view users, view orders. This should be folder, view orders. Now inside middleware.js, we can specify all of the admin routes in single place. Let's update our header component. This will be view orders /admin /view orders. Let's also specify view user. Similarly, for user route, this will be user/order, and this will be user/profile. Let's run our app. Refresh the page. Let's navigate to view orders. Middleware is running. If I navigate to home, we can see the console log. Order. We can see middleware is running. So this is working. So now if we want to create some new routes later for admin, we'll put that route inside admin. That way we don't have to specify each individual admin route in our middleware matcher. I want to keep this straightforward. So I won't be implementing authentication solutions like Nextauth or Supabase auth. I'll create simple function to mock the session. For that, in the root directory, let's create a folder named utils. Inside this folder, create a file name getsession.js. Let's create a simple function that returns the session. Export const getSession. We'll add delay of 1 second. Set timeout. Resolve after 1 second. This should be a async function. After 1 second delay, we'll return the user session. Close all of the files. Open middleware.js file. Let's invoke the function that we created just now. Const session await get session. This should be a async function. Refresh the page. Let's console log our session. Refresh the page. We are getting our session. If session exists, we'll execute if block. Otherwise, we'll execute else block. Let's get the URL where the user is trying to navigate. Const user navigating route. We can use a request to get the URL that the user is trying to access. request dot next URL dot pathname. Let's console log this user navigating route. Let's navigate to view orders. We are getting the URL. This is the URL that we are trying to access, and we are getting it here. If the user navigating route starts with admin, we'll check if the user role is admin or not, and accordingly redirect or allow user to navigate to that route. Navigating route dot starts with /admin and session dot role is not equal to admin. Then we'll redirect user to not found page. Return next response dot redirect / not found. Request dot URL. We have to pass this inside new URL. Let's create this not found page. Inside app, create a file name not found.js. Will be not found. Page not found. Return home. Admin is not defined. This should be string. In else block, if user navigating route dot starts with /admin or user navigating route dot starts with /user, will redirect user to not found, because first they have to be logged in to access admin and user route. Refresh the page. Let's return null from our get session function. Here we are not returning object, we are just returning. So session is null. Home route is not protected. So even though the session is null, we are being able to access home page. Similarly, we can access about page. Now if we try to navigate to profile page, we'll be redirected to not found. This is because we don't have session and we are trying to access /user when we are trying to navigate to profile. That is, when I click here, I am trying to navigate to user /profile. Since this condition matches, we are being redirected to not found page. Let's try to navigate to view user page. we are again being redirected to not found page. Now let's return the session where the role is admin. Now we should be able to navigate to all of this route. Let's try it out. As you can see, I can navigate to view orders. Similarly, I can navigate to profile. Because I have session. Also, right now we have session. So we should not be able to navigate to login or register because we only have session after we are successfully logged in. Right now in our app, we can navigate to login page and register page. So we have to also handle this. For that, we can add if statement here. If session exists and if user is navigating to route /login or registered, then we'll redirect user to the home page. Right now, we are returning the session. So if I refresh the page, I should be redirected to the home page. This is not working. This is not working because we are not executing this middleware function when we navigate to login or register route. So we have to add this in our matcher /login /register. Navigate to home page, refresh the page. I can view the admin route because my role is admin. Now if I click on login, I should be redirected to the home page because I am already logged in. Similarly, if I try to navigate to register page, I am again redirected to the home page. Now, if we don't pass session to the user, they won't be able to navigate to the admin route, which is view orders and view users. Let's try to navigate to this route. We are being redirected to not found page. Similarly, if I navigate to view users, I'm being navigated to page not found. Also, instead of matcher, we can use different matcher like it is shown in Next.js documentation. We can use this. Unlike this, as we are specifying matcher like this, except all of this, we retrigger this middleware. In this approach, we only triggered middleware when the user was trying to navigate through user, admin, login, or register route. However, in this approach, our middleware function will execute in all of the requests. We don't have to make any changes. It will work. Refresh the page. navigate to home page. My role is not admin, so I should not be able to see this route. I'm navigated to the home page. I can navigate to profile route. So this is working also. Instead of checking the session in the middleware, we can directly check the session in the individual page. For example, let's navigate to admin page, admin view user. We can get the session here. This should be a async function. On session, our way to get session. If session dot role is not equal to admin, will trigger the not found function. This not found function will redirect user to not found, and this page will be shown. For now, let's remove this logic. So we are passing all of our requests. So now, if the user tries to navigate to view user page, the session role will be checked, and if the session role does not matches admin, they will be redirected to the not found page. I am redirected to not found page. So you can use this approach, or you can directly block and protect your route from middleware.js.